Greetings, friends. Happy Saturday, and welcome to the return of Games Bond. Goaty _ Icarus FW _ lurkers in chat, VOD viewers, and everybody else. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're all doing wonderfully well this fine Saturday afternoon. I am pretty excited to finally resume our mission to chronologically explore the full extent of James Bond 007 computer and video game history. We've been on a bit of a break for the last 2 months, basically. We just had a lot of other stuff going on with the momentous occasion of a new Mortal Kombat game coming out. The somewhat less, but still somewhat momentous occasion of my birthday happening about a week ago. And, you know, just stuff going on. So, after finishing GoldenEye, which was quite the undertaking, we've been kind of chilling a little bit, waiting for the moment to strike. And indeed, here we are. We are on the cusp of the 1-year anniversary, in fact, of James Bond, which I still have not yet made any actual plans, but in my mind, I still feel like that's something I want to do something for. In fact, I don't even know the date exactly. I think it's the 10th of October, where we started. I should look that up, I guess. But with 1 year complete, I think it would be rather fun and appropriate to take a little look back, a little summary of the mission so far, and kind of assess how things have been going, what we've been playing, what we, you know, what we think of these games. Perhaps a little bit of rating and ranking. I don't know. We'll see. But my hope is that before then, we will get at least one more proper official James Bond mission under our belt. And the next official game list game is, in fact, James Bond 007 for the Nintendo Game Boy. And it is my full intent to get started on that today. However, before we get to that, we do have a secret mission in the form of GoldenEye, the Tiger Electronics dedicated handheld game, to check out first. And we'll get to that soon enough. There's a little bit of housekeeping to do first, though, as is common. I wouldn't dare call this an unboxing, but I did receive a package in the mail yesterday morning, and this is, in fact, a thing that I backed on Kickstarter, I don't know, some time ago, and have since kind of not really been following up on too closely, as those things tend to go. But I received a shipping notification like last week, and it in fact arrived yesterday. And this may be of interest to some people here, so let's dig into it. Okay. Been fairly rigorously taped up. All right, sure. We'll just tear this thing apart. So I can access the part that actually tears open, which you can barely see there, but there we go. This thing. What's this even? Oh, whatever. There we go. Oh. I guess for some reason I was expecting this to be a hardcover. Not that it matters. So floppy. But that means it's going to be easy and convenient to handle and read, which I do look forward to. As I say that, I wonder when will I find the opportunity to sit down and read a book. I am terrible at doing that, but I suppose I shall have to make some kind of effort. Why don't I have it snag bubble wrap here? Let's pull it out. This is, in fact, Legends of 16-Bit Game Development, A History of Treasure and the Sega Mega Drive. So this is, in fact, a book about Treasure and the games they made for the Mega Drive, specifically. That's about all I can say about it, because I remember reading the pitch on Kickstarter and said, "Oh, that seems interesting. I'll buy this for 20 bucks or whatever." I don't know, it's got a lot of pictures and stuff. It looks pretty nice. So basically it's a lot of like interviews and research and whatever else. Get some behind the scenes kind of looks at stuff, some artwork and screenshots, and looks like they've got some version comparisons and like for localization and whatever else. A bunch of stuff on Light Crusader. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about it because, well, I haven't read it yet. Some Alien Soldier comic bits here. But yeah, this is released by Raster Scroll. If anyone else is interested, I'm sure you can find this on the internet and look it up. I would assume that this is something that you could order if you were not lucky enough to get in on the Kickstarter. I would assume that it's like available. John Harrison is the name of the author, not someone I'm familiar with outside of this, but I guess I shall render a verdict once I have actually read some of this book. And we got some quality vintage developer photos. Some good stuff here. So yeah, there you have it. Legends of 16-Bit Game Development, which is an extremely generic title that I'm not the biggest fan of, but who cares, right? The title and the cover is not really why you buy the book. It's pretty meaty. I mean, considering it's a fairly narrow subject matter, I should hope that it manages to go fairly in depth. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. There's plenty of Treasure fans, I would imagine, in the wider world of Jiggy and Twitch retro community. So hopefully this is not a tremendous disappointment, but an actual cool, good book. But regardless, once I actually manage to get around to reading some of it, I'll make sure to let everybody know what I think of it. Anyway, that's that. Let me get this out of the way safely. I should also inaugurate today's stream with the beverage of choice. I got another cheap can of Macaw 45's Aussie Lemonade Juiced Monster Energy Juice Fuel, which tastes like lemon, and hey, works for me. But with that preamble out of the way, we are already running technically a little bit late, you know, compared to my extremely loose Saturday schedule. But we got stuff to get through, and I can't run infinitely late tonight either, because we are also, I should mention, wrapping up September with the final stretch of episodes of Mortal Kombat Conquest, the live-action Mortal Kombat TV show that we have been watching on the Discord over the past month. The final 5 episodes shall be watched on my Discord server starting from 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time tonight, which is a little bit over 6 hours from now. So I gotta finish this stream and make some kind of dinner, and then kickstart that. So I'm excited for that, but that means we got to get going. But let me just chill while I remember. And if you're interested in watching Mortal Kombat Conquest, or indeed just hanging out, we do other kinds of movie nights ever so often. We tend to watch video game themed movies, but we also occasionally watch Bond films. And in fact, we should have to schedule a viewing of Tomorrow Never Dies before too long, because that is in fact the next game after the Game Boy game's Bond game. So if watching movies or Mortal Kombat TV shows together, or just hanging out and chatting sounds like a decent time, do feel free to click that link. All right, so with that out of the way, let's hop on over to the Bond scene. We shall do a quick, not so much of a recap perhaps, but just orientation, see where we're at. Let me get some data up here. Let's see if this works. Boom, there we go. GoldenEye 007 was the most recent game completed, and that was quite the adventure, but I had a good time with it. It was occasionally extremely frustrating, but it was very fun. There were a lot of people in chat who were quite excited to watch me play it. We had a lot of new people show up who were very familiar with the game, and it was a good time all around. What's up, Mendel91? Greetings. We have been running the Q Branch Research Funding Initiative to unlock the additional secret missions. As I was setting up for this the other day, I did learn that apparently Q Branch Research Funding is just broken now. I guess people have been contributing too much for poor, Desmond Llewellyn to handle. So we're just, where it says NAN, that's supposed to be a number. And it's not. But let's just say that GoldenEye, the handheld device, has been funded. And we'll go back to the drawing board and figure out the future of the Q Branch Research Funding Initiative for upcoming secret missions. The thing is, we've been blowing through these like way faster than the actual main missions, so I might have to make some adjustments anyway, but we'll figure that out. So in the off chance that you'll say at the bottom of the screen there, the type !Q to see the status. I'm not sure what'll happen if you do that. The current status of Q Branch Research Funding Initiative is currently not ongoing, I guess. But it will be back as we gear up for more bonus missions. Like the way things worked out basically is that I ended up having like 2 people just gift sub 1 million subs, and then we instantly broke the goals. So we've been doing like every other game almost has been like a proper ordinary game and a bonus game, and there's a lot more of the regular games than the bonus games. So it'll probably be a little bit longer before we get back to the bonus missions, the secret missions. But I'll just have to, I'll confer with Q Branch and we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's possible that the command like doesn't even work. I'm not sure. Even if it does work, it's not going to give you any meaningful information, so I think we'll be okay. Netscape Navigator, Ritsugen, Brunan G, Roboto-san, welcome everybody. So I guess we can just take a quick look at this, just a super quick tease. We're not going to go into it, but this is the next mainline game that we're going to be playing. And I'm excited to check this out on the Super Game Boy, because this is in fact a Super Game Boy compatible game. And I don't know that I've actually seen what that looks like for this game. So that's going to be exciting. I have played this an extremely tiny little bit when it came out, but I barely remember anything. So I'm excited, very excited for this game. But first, we shall play GoldenEye. It has been a little bit tricky to find information on this. I found some data, some information, but I don't have a manual for this, for example, and I've seen conflicting reports as to this game's release date. It is my understanding and belief that this game did come out in 1995, which would make sense. That's when the movie came out. But I've seen the release date of 1998 as well. Now, in my research, unbeknownst to me based on prior research, I found out just recently that there was in fact a second Tiger Electronics GoldenEye game, which was, I think they called them grip games. It was like shaped like a pistol grip, and it had a little monitor, like a, I don't know, fucking PKE meter or whatever. So you have like a trigger and a little D-pad or something on your thumb, and there's a screen when you play it. And I think that one might have come out in 98. But to the best of my knowledge, that one is not emulated. And if it is, I might have to do some digging and see if we can add that to the list of bonus missions. But the game we'll be checking out today is this one that is pictured. I do not, as mentioned, have a manual, but I have some information from the 007 wiki. See if we can get a as comprehensive as possible of an idea of what to expect here. Stuck thread, hello, Space Copter, greetings. Actually, that's a good call with the spreadsheet. I should take a quick look there. Yes, because it is, in fact, it says here that James Bond 007 is up next. That is technically not true, because the bonus secret mission 004 is up next. Why don't I fill in the information on that so we can, everyone can get the accurate information if they happen to check this out right now. Let me just fill this in real quick. I know this is not going to be showing on stream, but I'd rather just get this out of the way. There we go. And I'll just... whatever. On there at least. But before we consult any outside information, let's see what the official Games Bond data sheet here says. Secret Mission 004, 007 GoldenEye. I guess the actual way the title's written is a little inconsistent. Dedicated handheld 1995 question mark by Tiger Electronics. Nothing is as it seems, and nothing will ever be the same again. Your friend, Alec Trevelyan, is your enemy, and he will use GoldenEye technology to encode and fire a satellite with enough electromagnetic pulse to destroy the world's communication and computer systems. I guess that's how that works. Time is the greatest enemy of all. You must defeat Trevelyan, the Russian soldiers, General Oromov, and Xenia Onatop before GoldenEye's satellite is fired at the Earth. The world needs 007 like never before, but will you be too late? We'll see. What's up, Socrates? The N64 GoldenEye has been done and dusted. We're moving on to bigger and better things, including Tiger Electronic handhelds. This, of course, did predate the N64 game, presuming that the release date is to be trusted, as the N64 game came out in early '97. So this is presumably the first actual GoldenEye video game adaptation. I don't have it on hand to show you, unfortunately. I did some... well, whatever, I don't have it on hand. But I can read you the exciting bullet point list here from the packaging. 5 stages of daredevil espionage. You always play as James Bond. Launch pistol and tank attacks. Use Q's secret weapons. Save the world's communication and computer systems. I like the bullet point that says you always play as James Bond. I'm curious if that's like... would anyone be on the fence worried that perhaps you would be playing as somebody else? Or is that meant to clarify that the tuxedo gentleman with detaching limbs is in fact James Bond? I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, That's reassuring, I guess. What's up, Macaw45? The way everything can click together when you get good at a game, so satisfying. I've enjoyed not a lot of Tiger Electronics games that I can remember, but I definitely have enjoyed some Game & Watch games in my youth. You dropped your phone on the keyboard and somehow it typed 300. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were on about there, but got it. Yeah, so let's get excited about always being James Bond and launching pistol and tank attacks in 5 stages of daredevil espionage. Player 1 might be Oddjob, you never know if they don't say so. They do have pictures of Isabella Scorupco and Trevelyan on the thing, so maybe we would think we're playing as those guys. Who knows? You're here for this? Well, good. So am I. So reading again from the wiki, with limited access to packaging or manuals or anything, we can just use the information that we can get here. Under the plot segment here, it says both game variants, it's referring to the original handheld, the one we're playing, and the Grip Games pistol grip shaped game, are based on the 1995 James Bond film GoldenEye and loosely follows its plot. Due to their rudimentary design, neither game is capable of a fleshed out story, although details are covered in the respective instruction manuals. In both, James Bond is sent to prevent his former friend Alec Trevelyan from using the GoldenEye satellite weapon to cripple Europe. Alright, yep, got that covered. Gameplay. The gamepad variant of Tiger Electronics' GoldenEye 007 utilizes their standard form factor of a centrally located LCD screen, flanked by directional controls and action buttons. Kick, Q, punch, and fire in the lower left and right hand sides, respectively. As you can see on screen here. Underneath the displays are off, sound, pause, and start/on keys. Players move left and right, attacking enemies by kicking, punching, or shooting, both on foot and using a tank. That's pretty exciting. The character can jump with up, apparently intended to be Q's repelling belt buckle, but the down arrow key does nothing. That's great. A more powerful attack is also available in the form of a Q-branch Class 4 pen grenade, which can wipe out all enemies currently on the screen. There are 5 stages during which 007 confronts assassin Xenia Onatopp and drives a tank, which can move to 3 different sprite locations in the left, middle, and right of the screen. As with the Grip Games variant, all the game's graphics are fixed in place. Illusion of movement is created by sequentially flashing objects between their possible states. Backgrounds for the games are static drawings layered behind the moving graphics, which are transparent when not in use. Well, yeah, of course, that's how these things work. Nuke Skywalker 95, greetings. The N64 first-person shooter came out in 97. The game that we're going to be playing, to the best of my knowledge, originally came out in 95. Data is inconsistent. I've seen reports of 1995. I've seen reports of 1998. Different sources give different information. I have not been able to find anything super conclusive. So I'm not entirely sure, but it's not that important. I mean, I'd like to know. Well, yeah, I've seen sources that say 1998. I've seen sources that say 1995. If you have a good source, I'd be happy to take it, but I've seen inconsistent information. That's all I can say. Unfortunately, I don't have access to any kind of packaging or manual scans or anything that has an actual date on it, or any other kind of reliable, detailed first-hand information. But again, it doesn't really matter. Maybe this is, maybe this isn't the first GoldenEye adaptation, but it's kind of neither here nor there. In any case, we will be enjoying this game thanks to the hard work of contributors to the Internet Archive, which have made this game available through MAME to be played directly in a web browser. And I have painstakingly recreated, to the best of my ability, the complete experience of playing this game. So let me see if I can configure that. Let's see. Yeah, we don't really... Oh, yeah. Hang on. Let's do this. And... see if this should work. Boom. There's our game right here, and we'll be getting it on screen shortly. And if you have trouble seeing what's happening on screen, don't worry. That's just part of the authentic experience. So let's see. Controls are a bit whack, but I could technically reconfigure them, but I don't know if I'm gonna bother. So kick, control and alt, base and you know, I'm just gonna reconfigure this. This is gonna be better anyway. Yeah, there's so much of this that just feels so disconnected from video games in so many different ways, and like it's hardly considered part of the same thing, even though like obviously like you look at Game & Watch and it's a pretty direct lineage between that and like the Game Boy and so many other Nintendo even arcade games and stuff. And it's, you could also, you know, there's so many things that fall somewhere in between that isn't quite this rudimentary, but it's like if you have games like this on one end and you have like, I don't know, the Switch on the other end, you know, you have games that are like Game & Watch, you have stuff that's like the Pocket Station or the VMU for the Dreamcast, you have these like calculator games. Like there's a pretty, you know, broad range even between something like this and something like a Game Boy. And I don't think there is like, I don't think you can unambiguously and objectively draw a line and say that things that are on this side of the line are video games and things that are on the other side of it are not. So it is interesting for sure. Well, let's just do this and we'll get rid of these jams so we can fully enjoy the glorious soundscape. Of the Tiger Electronics GoldenEye handheld. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we are going to configure some stuff here. I'm going to just configure this the same way basically that it is on the device itself. I'm going to make it a little easier to figure out what is what here. I'll put the power start button over there. There's a pause button, in fact. Let's put that. Okay. I just realized I might be doubling down on my live split shortcuts, but I'll just make sure not to have them global hotkeys. You'd say Tiger Electronics games are not games because they are bad. I mean, I think that's an awfully slippery slope to go down and in classifying stuff. And I think, yeah, I think it might be a little presumptuous as well. I haven't played many of them, but I reckon, I mean, some of them could get pretty damn advanced for sure. I mean, Game & Watch games got more sophisticated in some ways, but Tiger kept making these games for a long ass time, and I'm sure they iterated on a lot of the concepts. I figured you were being a little bit facetious, Altman, but it's still, you know, it bears mentioning still that, like, you know, like the reason I bring it up is not to dunk on you. It's more that, like, I think that kind of dismissive attitude is quite common, and I think that's a big part of why these things aren't super well documented or thought of as like even part of like video game history. Yeah, just reading that it has 5 stages feels so foreign to me, because I'm expecting a game like this to have like a loop and it's just an endless thing and you get score and that's it. But if it has 5 levels, I mean, it probably does loop, but like how will the game communicate that I am on a different stage? And like, I mean, it says stage, so this is stage -1 in the, you know, start screen or whatever, but like apparently we're in a tank on some stages, and I guess I don't know. I'm interested. So I did boot this up to just try it out and make sure that I could get it to work. And I think I possibly got to a boss fight, but I was rather confused about the whole thing. So we'll see how this goes. Usual pattern is just incorporating 1 or 2 new elements per stage. Yeah. I wouldn't expect it to be like completely reinventing the entire thing for sure. But in fact, like even having room for enough elements to introduce any of them, like rolling out through the game, I think is conceptually like quite impressive. Wasn't there some sort of deluxe 2-screen tabletop Fist of the North Star LCD game? Japanese LCD games, I mean, outside of Game & Watch, I guess, are not some... I mean, I'm even less familiar, I should say. I'm not really... I'm hardly a scholar on Tiger Electronics games or anything like that either. But like Japanese 80s LCD games and shit, I'm completely clueless on. But I never owned any of these, but I had friends who had some... I think I came across and like ended up sort of owning. I definitely didn't buy it, but some Game & Watch device ended up sort of in my, you know, possession at some point. And I remember a friend of mine had it was like a wristwatch that you could like open up, and it had like a Zelda game or something in it. I think there was like a Donkey Kong one like that as well. The one I remember playing, the Game & Watch remember playing, was the Super Mario Bros. One that I think was on a clear, like, pane of glass kind of thing, where it's like the whole device was like see-through or some shit. And it had like the Super Mario Bros. Castle level kind of thing. Man, my memory is extremely hazy. Anyway, the GoldenEye game, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I'd be interested to dig into that, McCall, for sure, like the old LCD games. But it's, I don't know, it's one of about 5,000 things that hypothetically would be interesting to dig into, but you got to find the time for it. Not to mention, like, it's a lot less accessible, I reckon, than a lot of video games and arcade games that are very easily accessible through emulators and stuff. I mean, it's a good thing that a lot of these Tiger stuff is in MAME. But I'm sure for everything that is available and emulated, easily accessible, there's a lot more that isn't. Yeah, the Cobra ones for sure. I'd be interested in. That goes without saying. Anyway, let's see if we can get this up and running. Oh, that's the GoldenEye. So I'm playing this on a big white window, but I've superimposed it over the device itself for the benefit of you guys. So I'm like occasionally kind of looking over to the stream to see what it looks like. But it's, yeah, hopefully it provides a gratifying viewing experience. All right, let's start the timer. All right, so I can turn around. Wait, there's the gun. It's... oh, that's a cue. Okay, I blew everything up. Sure, okay. So I have to, like... Okay, I guess I have to shoot backwards. So I get owned by Xenia, who, like, climb... Oh, I can kick backwards. Okay, good. Whenever I get... Oh, okay, I got her. I punch. Kick. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think I do a back-turned punch. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so Xenia just, like, climbs on top of you. And you can get rid of her, but I don't quite understand how. Because you have punch, kick, and gun. And you can turn around, and I think you can, like, visibly at least fire your gun and do a kick. I don't know that you can actually punch backwards. And you have the up button, which you can, like, if not too much is going on, you can jump, which does not necessarily seem to achieve much. But clearly, like, I tend to kind of mash and get rid of her. But I don't know. Maybe you would need to slow down a little bit to test and try to piece together, like, what actually works and what doesn't. But it's a little bit difficult when there's a lot going on. This appears to be a reskin of the Batman Forever game. Well, if Batman Forever has a bug that sticks to Batman and you get rid of them, and you happen to know how that works, do feel free to advise me. All right, that was attempt 1. So I can't punch. Shoot. Oh, that's the Q button. Let's kick. I think I kicked her away. Oh, that's the jump, by the way. Okay, I can kick to get rid of her. But I have to do like 2 kicks. I do a backwards kick and then you kick again and you turn forwards. Oh, shit, boss fight. I guess that's Trevelyan. Oh, shit. Something exploded. Oh, he's throwing grenades. I died. Okay, I think I have to chase after him. I'm Swedish, yes, Nuke Skywalker. Will jump on the grenade. Yeah, because I was trying to mash forward. To, like, outrun it, but you're probably right. Jumping seems like it would make sense. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't feel like the sprite looked much like Trevelyan, but it clearly seemed to be a portrait of him. It's interesting, like, when the enemies kind of pile up. I had to, like, turn around after she grabs me. It's like they take some kind of order of precedence to... hurt you. I don't know what these squares are meant to be, by the way. They're probably just meant to indicate, like, forwards movement. Oh, I think I dodged a bullet. Doesn't really feel like I'm hitting him, but his life bar seems to be decreasing. Oh, I think I got him. Oh, there's a timer. That's right. Time is of the essence. Oh, wait. Here he is again. Oh, I'm losing lives. Okay. Technically, you have multiple lives. I was confused about my life bar going down. Okay, stage 2. Like, I wasn't sure if I was taking damage or not. But yeah, because, like, the life bar, at some point I looked at it and I had 3 pips, but I must have died and had more health. It's like a tank stage. Do I press start? Yep. Damage there. Ah, shit. I have to, like, really focus on this. Am I meant to not shoot that lady or whoever at the far end of the screen? Because it looked like I shot and took damage.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Altman, thank you very much for the unspeakable horrors. Oh, boss fight coming up. How do I react to this?
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Oh, okay. We cleared the stage. What's going on here? Gifting subs left and right. El Condoctor gifted a tier 1 sub to Killer Miller EX. Welcome to the Skull Club, and thank you very much. I'm so overwhelmed by this game. I can't quite follow what's going on. Maybe this is worse. It had unique bosses.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Oh yeah, there's the Q branch funding being broken, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I'm just interested in the whole tank stage concept. I would have thought that they would intersperse that throughout the game. We're on stage 3 out of 5, and we haven't seen it yet. Okay, so to defeat Xenia, I have to turn around and then kick. Shit. Yeah, sometimes it like queues up inputs. Yeah, okay. Shooting that person does seem to hurt me. Oh, Trevelyan is coming up. Okay, last life, I guess. Ah! Alright, he's dropping down again. Wait, did he get a full life bar? What happened? I wish he would, like, flash when he gets hit. I have to, like, look over to his life bar. Alright. Stage 4. Oh, shit! Holy crap. Okay, this is pretty impressive. Like, that this can, like, fit in the same game. I have to, like, look over to the stream to see what it actually looks like with the background. It's like a bonus stage. So basically, just wait for the... Oh, shit. Maybe I was gonna say, wait till we get close enough to be, like, wireframe, because that's when I can hit them. But yeah, the way they, like, layer these drawings... Because I was wondering why Bond was, like, cut up into tiny little pieces when he was jumping. Because it didn't seem like he would be able to sort of animate or perform actions from the jumping frame. But it's probably because they're stacking, like, these drawings in the same place on screen. Stuff like that is really impressive. The guy's just parked over there? I mean, there's a timer. Am I supposed to... Like, I'm going forwards by myself, right? I don't have to, like, press up. Got shot again. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of telegraphing, you know, they just decide to shoot sometimes, and you just get hit. 30 seconds. I'm worried about time. Yeah, multi-genre game. It's like we're playing an ocean computer game. multimodal 007 action. Okay, time's about to run out. Maybe we just go to the end timer? We're finding out. Yep, stage 5. Oh, I like that you can get a little breather on the stage intro screen. Yeah, the background with the like perspective didn't make sense to me either, and yeah, now it makes more sense. Golden Ace 01, I see. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. A kick. I don't know exactly, like, so the kick button seems to work for getting rid of Xenia. And fire obviously can kill dudes at range. Q kills everything on screen, and I immediately wasted it at the beginning of stage 1 because I got the buttons confused. But I'm not sure if there is a particular purpose to the punch button. I'm also not sure about my lives. But, oh shit, he's just showing up here in the middle of everything else. I see, this is where I might want the Q button. The fucking boss rush. Every enemy on screen at once. Oh, she prevents me from jumping. That makes sense. Oh, that was harrowing. Game is, for what it is, pretty cool. Maybe punching is like faster than kicking or something. Or maybe it's like Spartan X where it just gives you more points. Feels like you can like cancel the punch with a gunshot at least. I have no idea how I'm doing on lives if I'm like one hit away from game overing. But if I am, I have a much better understanding of how the game works. Oh, Trillion. Ah! I literally was. I was pressing up, but I couldn't avoid his little shin kick. That was probably the final boss. But now I at least know to save the Q pen. Like, I know how to get rid of Xenia. I know to save the Q pen until stage 5. And hopefully we can do okay. No music in this game, it appears. No. Let's see if we can, I don't have like a Bond playlist per se, but we could, could get some stealth affair music. Just provide a nice, smooth, Bond-like ambiance. Yeah, the tank stage is cool, and again, like the fact that you can kind of swap modes between stages is pretty incredible. But I'm intrigued about the concept of the multiple boss fights, like just how that would play out. And I think that like, frankly, I think the tank stage would work better if there was a tank stage, like if stage 2 was also a tank stage. Because stage 1, 2, and 3 kind of just feel the exact same. And the tank stage feels a little undercooked in that it doesn't really utilize what's there. Like, you only use the fire button, and it doesn't seem like you have to... there aren't, like, different enemy types that you have to deal with in a different way, or... Like, there's no real thinking or decision-making in that stage. It just kind of goes on until the timer runs out, it seems like. I mean, it's still really cool, but I think... given what they had going here, it doesn't quite feel like it lives up to the complete potential of what could have been done with it. But still impressive. But again, I can see how having every stage be different, or at least every stage have a different boss, would feel like it had a larger impact than the kind of wow moment of just seeing the tank mode. Love of Pierce Brosnan Bond. Whoops, I didn't mean to... I forgot to disengage. Let's do that. The shuffle mode. There we go. Just enjoy the Stealth Affair playlist. Okay, let's try this again. That's the Q button. I'll make sure not to press that one. And yeah, I'll try to use punches because it seems like maybe that's quicker. I don't know. Let's go. 8,300 is my... Okay, great start here. All right, okay. Taking 2 damage instantly. I try to punch backwards, which like isn't a thing. Yeah, it takes a little bit just to kind of get into the rhythm of things. Ah, messed it up. Okay, you press... Oh, shit, and I damaged... Oh. I guess what I could try to figure out if there's like a better pattern to this. Yeah, so he's like... He like respawns or refills his health or something. Trying to figure out if like I can get consistent. I got him. All right, let's see if we can focus that. Nice. No need to experiment shooting the lady at the end of the screen. I think that's a lady, I guess. Maybe that's supposed to be... I forget her name in the movie. Isabella Scorupco's character just shows up there, and if I shoot her, I lose health. Ah, shit. Ah, yeah, she got me. But when there's not that many dudes at once, like, it's pretty straightforward. All right, Trevelyan. Kind of seems like shooting then jumping is mostly safe. But what can happen is if he like decides to throw a grenade. Ah, took 2 hits. I can end up landing into the grenade or in the kick even. Yep, so like that. I got him, but I took a few hits. Let me catch up with chat if we're on pause here anyway. Yeah, streaming stuff like this off of real hardware definitely a bit tricky. I mean, I streamed all of the games on the Taito Igor 2 Mini, setting up a camera and filming the cabinet, but that's obviously like a proper LCD screen that is backlit and everything. Something like this would be a lot trickier. This seems great. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself for what it is. Yeah, I'm sure they would have photographed or scanned or done whatever with the like pictures. I have no idea how this is actually stored and how it works, but it's not like pixels or anything, right? Like it's just, I don't know, invisible ink or some shit. So yeah, it is. I mean, I would compare it probably to something like pinball emulation or something. Like you have the software, you can have the exact ROMs and run the software as it is, but the software is driving a kind of recreated representation of the visuals in this case, or you know, kind of the mechanics of a pinball machine. Obviously this is a lot less sophisticated, but it's, I would compare it to something similar where there's an element beyond just the ROM software. Good morning, MTI. Welcome. All right, stage 3. I need to look over to the picture of the game on my stream layout to remind myself of the control scheme. Nice. Nice, okay. So yeah, even if you have multiple enemies in a spot that... Like, you have two enemies that could be hurt by a kick, you can only ever hurt one at a time. So that's why it's really dangerous when they pile up. Because I guess mostly they're kind of on a timer. Yeah, once they're in their position... Ah! I'm gonna... Turn around! Okay. For a while, they will activate their attack and you take damage if you don't get rid of them in time. I guess these close range guys aren't on the first stage or two, maybe? Not that it makes too much of a difference, you can just shoot him. Oh, Trevelyan. Okay, yeah, I got him. Okay, that was pretty good. I took a hit or two, but... Okay, tank stage. Kind of wish I could have an easier time telling how many lives I had, but... I have my Q weapon saved. And I think it seemed like pretty early on stage 5, we're gonna get overrun by enemies. We'll try to use it then. Ugh. Timing of the enemies attacking on this stage seems utterly unpredictable. I mean, the timing of everything in this stage is... Ah! I don't know if you might strategically be better off... Ugh. Like, not trying to go after the enemies. Because I would assume that they can only hurt you if, like, you're in their lane. But I don't know. I'm taking what feels like way more hits now than I did in this stage last time. Okay, that one just disappeared. Ugh. I was literally just about to say that it seems like if I take care of them about as quickly as possible... Okay, I think that's at 0 lives. I can get rid of them. Maybe just like mash the shoot button really fast throughout the entire stage. It seems quite responsive in this stage. Just do that. Yeah, because I can land like stray hits like that sometimes. Okay, I think that's the strat. Oh, that thing actually fired when I wasn't there. It feels like it makes the game run even more sluggishly, but that's a price I'm willing to pay if it means survival. 9 seconds, 8. Ah, I took one more hit. I feel like maybe you get health back between stages, but I guess you don't get lives back, so... That was risky going after that. Yeah, full health. LED Bond might look good on a white t-shirt. 4th grade students always give you more respect when you wear your Pit Fighter shirt. I mean, as they should. Ultimate, I wouldn't know. It's entirely possible that it's a full-on like recreation of the behavior, but it's running in MAME for whatever that is worth. But I don't know much about the technical specifications. Yeah, the tank stage is definitely quite impressive. Okay. Kick and fire. Yeah, I should mainly just ignore the punch button, I think. So if I have 3 hits left for when I reach Trevelyan, I have a shot, but we got to make sure to use the Q button. Ah, shit. Holy shit, okay. Dude, this is crazy. But I think maybe I somehow got more lives? I don't know. Okay, I'm alive for now, but not for long. Okay, that was like another... Maybe my lives just refill somehow? I definitely lost, like, a full life bar. The thing about using the Q thing is that it's not instant. It takes a little while. Shit, I'm... Oh, okay, lucky. Okay, I have 2 health at least. There he is. Tense. Ah! Ah! Oh, god damn it! That was close. That was close. I got the buttons mixed up. And I took, like... Okay. My life... At some point during stage 4, my life bar got to 0. The number 0 flashed over the score, and then my life bar was full. I took that to mean I died. Now I am on 0 lives, but full health. After that, in stage 5, my life bar drained and was refilled. And I took that to mean, okay, I died, but came back to life. So now I'm wondering, maybe you get... Because I assumed, or I knew, I didn't finish stage 4 with full health. So I saw the life bar on stage 5 and figured, okay, you get a health refill between stages. But since I died and came back during stage 5, that makes me think, okay, I guess you get lives back? So if you do in fact start every stage with full health, or full health and full lives, or whatever, which I guess actually, that doesn't seem likely either, because that would have meant that I lost like 3 lives or something on the tank stage, which I guess I could have. I got hit a couple of times. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, I'm not sure to what extent playing better throughout the game will give me more of a leeway for stage 5. I might just have to get good. But we're getting this close. It seems like it would be doable. I definitely got a little flustered and pressed the wrong button and messed up. Taking a few, 1 or 2 hits more on stage 5. And the fact, even when you're fighting Trevelyan, it kind of comes down to luck, I feel like. So even if I got there with the exact same state now, I could just as easily win as I lost, probably. Let's try again. I'm not gonna try to get fancy, just use whatever techniques we know works. So I got hit like 3 times right at the beginning of the last run. You guys can help me try to keep an eye on my live situation and see if we can figure out how it works. Okay, so far good. No miss is alive. Wow, I didn't even take damage there. Okay, first Trevelyan. Oh shit, okay, so it says 2 there. I took a death. Didn't have to take one more hit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so stage 2. Yeah, assuming they have an ending, I wouldn't expect it to take super long either. Okay, so when I died, it said 2. I'm curious to see if and when we take another death. I mean, when, I think it's fair to say. What it'll flash on screen and what we can infer from that. I kind of queue up the input, so you can kind of cancel, like if you do a kick you can shoot almost immediately after, or vice versa, but if you kick backwards and maybe not kick forwards quite as fast. Or if you kick forward, you can't kick backwards quite as fast. So I guess it's safest to always just fire the gun to kill dudes in front of you. Oh, already at Trevelyan again. Jump, please. Okay, that went super smooth. Okay, so I didn't take a death there. Yeah, Bond's kicking acumen is quite impressive. This is definitely the best run so far, just in terms of consistent performance. Oh, I say as I get fucking owned. Okay, it flashed to number 2 again. Holy shit. Okay. Can recover. Yeah, you can't mash too hard. You need to get rid of Xenia because the input is to turn back, press the kick button, and then press forward. You don't actually have to kick a second time. You just literally do a fucking roundhouse kick by extending your leg and then turning forward. But if you do press the button, like I guess you kind of do a forward kick instead, which is, it looks the same, but it mechanically doesn't function the same as like the spinning kick. Okay, now it says 1. Okay, hopefully I should do this without dying at least. Okay. Stage 4. Peak Bond gaming, yeah, for sure. Okay, so just mash the fire button like crazy. Try not to give them any opportunity to fire their guns. I don't know if it's safer to stand in the middle lane, but less satisfying. Going left and right is a little less responsive if I'm shooting the gun like this, but tactics does seem effective. So I should have at least 1 extra life. But maybe score can give you extends or something, because I definitely had, you know, 0 lives, and then I died more than once after that. So there's something going on with the lives. Something... Oh, that was the timer. I was going to say, did something flash there in the score? But yeah, it was the timer. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about stage 5. It's scary when you have Trevelyan and then you have like the gun dude behind him. I think frankly when I used the Q thing, I'm not sure if I used it with the correct timing really last time, because enemies, you know, can take a little, they have like a few frames to go through before they're in position. Although I guess I don't know, for all I know the Q10 rocket might explode them even if they're in the midst of spawning. But it kind of felt like I didn't quite get to use it to its full effect. But there's also the fact that I was absolutely flustered in that situation. I definitely got the punch and gun and kick buttons kind of mixed up. So in the midst of trying to get rid of enemies, I kind of fucked up. Yeah, mashing the gun seems effective because I didn't get hit once in this stage. Okay, I gotta rest my trigger finger a little bit. I thought that the layout of the button seemed unintuitive, but it kind of makes sense in a way, because the kick being on the like top left, you kind of want to turn around and do the kick, and you want to rush forward and use the gun. But the kick being kind of to the left and the gun sort of to the right makes a little more sense, even though you might think that kick and punch should be like punch above kick and gun on top left or something, but whatever, it works out. Yeah, I'm sure Chu put his top men on designing the ergonomics of this device. James Bond's GoldenEye field training digital LCD exercise device. Okay, kick, fire, go. Nice. Okay, good start. Pew! Oh my god, I took like 3 hits while I'm trying to use it. Holy crap. Okay, I think I'm at 0 lives again. Like the game's just relentlessly deleting your lives on your path to the boss fight. Fuck. Too bad. Dude! I was trying so carefully to not mash too hard, and I think I didn't mash hard enough as a result. Let's just pray we got some kind of extend. I think we got the best score so far, but... badly timed jump, I think, but... oh, he punched. Okay. We did it. Holy shit. This is a fucking ending? Ah. We did it, guys. Boom. Mission accomplished. The helicopter came to pick us up. Oh, dude, that was tense. That was so tense. Oh man, yeah, that was satisfying. I'm glad we finished it. Yeah, I'm incredibly impressed. On its surface, like yeah, it's like how it's so limited, but it's also so abstracted that you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff. Like, as long as it makes some amount of sense and context, like, that's really all you need. And you can have things like being in different positions on screen. Yeah, it's pretty funny too. There's like there's a Mortal Kombat Tiger game where it's like they represent the different characters. There's like you have this kind of generic man-shaped figure, and then it can like choose to display Raiden's hat or not, or like it adds a little sash to make it look like a ninja or something. It's quite funny, but it's still like, it's very impressive, like the ingenuity of making it work in extremely limited confines. I think it's really quite something. Duke Nukem 3D, that sounds pretty good. So as mentioned at the top of this, I only learned of this week, but there is a second GoldenEye Tiger Electronics game which had it was called the Grip game, I think was the name of that series, of this like pistol grip shaped game. And I saw some pictures of it, and it appears that it looks a little similar to the tank stage here, where you have this kind of over-the-shoulder third-person view, like a hallway shooter kind of thing. And I think that kind of makes sense. You can have... It's not too dissimilar from something like the Snatcher, like, gun sequences, or the, Sunset Riders bonus stage. You wouldn't necessarily move a cursor across, like, a reticle, but, like, you can be in different positions and shoot down, like, multiple lanes, so you can have enemies in different spots. Like, I feel like something like that, it's not as kind of crazy as this, but it would be fairly, I don't know, legible and kind of make sense. So I'm assuming it restarts here. Oh, we do get... oh, yeah, okay. Is it a second loop? I guess so. No, it does. I was gonna say, do we get to keep our score? No, it just restarts. Man, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking over to this stream window. I'm glad my my elaborate setup here to display this on stream appears to have worked out okay. And as I said, like, if you have a slight bit of trouble making out what's going on, then that's just like you're getting a more authentic experience than I am. All right. Well, let's do that. And we can mute that. So that is secret mission number 4 taken care of. Let me update the spreadsheet. I think, in fact... Oh, wait, do I have... I think I already prepared... No, okay. I'm gonna have to do this off stream. But let me just type this in. 2023 09/30 is when we began and completed this mission, and it took us 37 minutes 49 seconds. Completed all 5 levels and got the ending. Yeah, I agree, Shiboji. Like, it's pretty cool. I think, was it Guybrush? Someone who linked a an interview or article or something about the yeah, I guess they had a blog post on archive.org about the emulation stuff and how it's all up there. Well, all the stuff that is up there, I guess. Obviously, not every handheld LCD game is on Internet Archive. But yeah, it's a very like it's not a very cool thing to emulate. Like, as far as someone making the effort to, I mean, I don't think a lot of people develop emulators because, you know, for the Rockstar kind of aspect of it. Some people probably, when it comes to like modern consoles, but for the most part, it's just people who are extremely nerdy about random shit. But even within that space, like within that context, Tiger Electronics handheld games, it's like the butt of all jokes. So that makes it all the more meaningful, I think, that someone actually, you know, is doing it and has done it. There you go. GoldenEye dedicated handheld has been completed. That means that the active mission will now be James Bond 007 for the Nintendo Game Boy. Yeah, for sure, Macaw. Like, there's just a lot of stuff, a lot of stones left unturned. I mean, in so many, like, you know, it's just with so many different things, right? How so much of the English-speaking internet, in so many regards, is so incredibly, like, America-centric, that like, that's one part of it, right? Like, anything, even outside of games, like, stuff that isn't mainstream or easily available in English / in America gets treated as, like, unimportant or no one cares or whatever. And if it's something that's like a physical device that, like, that's a kind of a standalone thing, that makes it even more, like, sort of weird, and it's a type of thing that's already kind of a niche. I think people vastly overestimate how well games are, like, documented and preserved. Because people, you know, people tend to only see or know or care about the stuff that is, like, the most kind of mainstream. And people's like, well, you can get a full library of NES or Super NES games, so then we're done, or whatever. And even then, like, that's not necessarily true either. Because you never, like, sometimes there's stuff that's, like, might have had really weird releases or aren't quite at retail, or something was recalled, and it could be, like, we don't really know if or how something was commercially distributed because there's no documentation. You can have games where it's discovered, like, 20 years later, like, oh yeah, the one dump of this that floated around was actually not, like, an accurate dump. Or something wasn't played correctly in MAME or whatever it is. Like, stuff like that is still fairly common. You really, really don't have to go far outside the most mainstream of mainstream to start noticing very conspicuous gaps in like availability of information and data. And I mean, just look at something like cover art and yeah, let's just stop there. I was gonna say in manuals are at least tedious as hell to actually scan and preserve, but like cover art, like there's so many games, relatively popular things. Like it's a good thing we have sites like Sega Retro, where most things on Sega consoles at least are mostly sort of taken care of. But you can have a reasonably popular game for a very popular console, and you go to the typical resources like Moby Games or Game FAQs or Giant Bomb or whatever, and like the one image that exists on the internet of this game's cover is like a 400 by 300 JPEG from 1996. Like that's fucked up. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, that's why I think stuff like that is really cool, and that's why I want to take efforts to scan and preserve stuff that I have available to me. But it is truly a both Herculean and thankless task, because it is incredibly time consuming. I mean, doing things to like archival quality might take special equipment and expertise, but doing stuff at a quality that's better than you can find broadly on the internet does really not take much. I know Duke Donuts was talking about this recently. Like he was playing I think he was playing Final Fantasy VI, or he was talking about it or whatever, and how like Final Fantasy VI is like this huge kind of milestone of a game that was a big deal even at the time in America, and the one scan you can find of its instruction manual is like 72 DPI, and you can't read the text, and that's like what passes for preservation, which is like a bit fucked up. I do know that as far as Super Nintendo manuals specifically goes, there was not long ago someone who did kind of post, I don't know if they dumped it on Internet Archive or it was through Forced Evolution or whatever it was, but there was this thing where it's like, oh yeah, here's every North American Super Nintendo manual scanned in, well, I don't know if it was like 600 DPI, but it's readable resolution at least. And it's like it's a double-edged sword. I mean, no, it is an unequivocally good thing, don't get me wrong, but what is troubling about something like that, or unfortunate, I guess, is that some people will look at that and say, all right, cool, then we're done, because they like where those people interests begin and end is like anything that says North America, and if it doesn't, it's like doesn't matter, and that is very frustrating. Do I know about the Japanese side where a guy's doing scans of a lot of SFC manuals? Not offhand. I'm sure I would probably have been alerted to it at some point, but now that you mention it, I'm not entirely sure if I do have access or like have that kind of on hand. But if you have the URL to that, Macaw, I would be very grateful if you were to link that in my Discord, because that is definitely something I would want to kind of keep on hand. Yeah, for multiple reasons. Yeah, if you can find it, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, because I was thinking too, like on, I think it was Goaty. Someone was playing Majul, and that manual is like not available on the internet. And that game is a really, really expensive Super Famicom game, but they did put out a reissue of that game a couple of years ago, which I bought, which was like 40-50 bucks, like a normal price. And it comes with a manual, like a complete reprint of the original manual. So I always thought like, man, okay, I should make sure to scan that at some point, so it like exists, because that is something that, like, it's one thing we have at least kind of a dime a dozen manuals, which is of course why people don't take the effort or the time to preserve them, because they're like, well, what, you know, they're not hard to get. But all of a sudden you have a game that's like 300 bucks. Then people are going to be a little less eager to find a copy for the sole purpose of scanning the manual. I mean, finding someone to bother scanning a manual in the first place is a big ask, but doing so with something that is a hard to get or very expensive item, and it, you know, orders of magnitude more trouble. What's up, Sean? Yeah, I mean, it's like anyone can contribute in some way or another, right? But it takes an effort. Yeah, scanning manuals is a shit ton of work. So I've been scanning some comics too, right? I'm currently working on doing all the clean. I finished scanning and I'm doing the editing and cleanup of one of the Virtua Fighter manga that I got, and that's like 200 something page book, and it took me like a couple of weekends to scan it, and it's gonna take me like 1 or 2 weeks. I mean, I might push through and just get it done like over this weekend, but it's probably, I don't know, 20 to 30 hours to do that. I mean, a manual is not 200 pages, but even so, and I've done that with a couple of books, so I have a little bit of a kind of a routine, like I know what I'm doing. But if you're kind of figuring it out blind, like it took significantly longer the first time I did it. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But yeah, I think for the most part, like the just dumping stuff on, because I had a lot of scans of cover arts and stuff from games that that I wasn't sure, like I was stockpiling it for like a decade, not knowing exactly where or like how to distribute it in a good way. And I was asking around. I asked Duke Donuts and I think some other people for advice, and what I was kind of told is like, dump it on there, worry about it later. Like if you just dump it on there, you can make some efforts to edit the thing you've uploaded to make it a little easier to find on searches and stuff, but if it's up there, it's up there. And I figured, you know what, that's a good point. Like someone can take that and rearrange it and reorganize it and put it up again, but they can't do that if it's just sitting on my hard drive. But yeah, for sure, Sean, with like more modern stuff, like actual source files for that kind of stuff is like insanely cool and valuable in my opinion. Yeah, but it's tough too, because it's like in some cases there's a lot of kind of cultural obstacles as well, and that's why it's really cool, Macaw. And thank you, by the way, for posting the link. I'll make sure to check that out after the stream. Like Japan is generally very I don't want to say close-minded, but let's say conservative when it comes to distributing materials of this kind. Like technically speaking, I think there is a reason why you would never see or rarely see a lot of Japanese stuff scanned back in the day, because like computers weren't as common. Like people, like you watch like any video game website on the internet from Japan, and they were always like designed for flip phones basically. And I think that probably played a part in it, but also just like culturally, Japan has like a tremendous respect for privacy, and like people are very sort of shielded and secretive in a lot of different ways. So the idea that you would just share stuff in general is a little more a little more foreign, I think. And on top of that, I think there's a kind of culturally institutionalized, I don't know if that's the right word, but very well entrenched respect for not just privacy, but like even it's not like copyright necessarily, that also, but like it extends into respect for kind of copyright and stuff. But it's like the idea that you would have to check with like just permission, I guess, like asking for permission for stuff, like very, very broadly, is just culturally ingrained in a completely different way than it is in a lot of other cultures, I guess I should say. And that extends to stuff like licensed use of IP stuff or whatever. And I'm not even talking about in like big corporate situations, but even in like much smaller things, which is on a side note of a side note of a side note, is what makes the doujin kind of industry so fascinating, because it's simultaneously extremely loose and open with that kind of stuff, while like within a framework that is very, in many other ways, rigid and respectful of those kind of structures. But that tends to reflect in a lot of different ways. Exactly what Father Axekeeper, what you're saying. Like, people are just take it as a given that you cannot and will not distribute things against, well, not even against the wishes, but like without express and explicit permission. And even asking for that kind of permission would probably be considered some kind of social, you know, faux pas. So there is like the what do they call the Game Preservation Society, I think, in Japan. And they, you know, it's very tough work. And it's, yeah, and yeah, Sean, like you're talking about, like within the kind of corporate world, that there's definitely that kind of stuff too, where it's like, in fact, I've been seeing something going around recently. There is some archive or museum or something in Japan that is closing down in November or something, and they have a lot of like originals from a bunch of famous like publishers, like a bunch of manga stuff, or actually might be like animation cells and whatever, like a bunch of original materials. And it's like, these materials have to be claimed by their respective kind of copyright holders, or they will be destroyed. And it's like they don't have, I guess, legal or like culturally ethical mandate to just like take care of it. And it's like, there's a lot of, yeah, the film arc, it might be, I forget what it was exactly, I just remember seeing it in passing on my Twitter timeline a few times. But that kind of thing like happens routinely, basically. So with regards to Japan specifically, like, it's a lot of hurdles to overcome culturally, which aren't necessarily quite the same in a lot of other parts of the world. But I don't know what it's like in, you know, Korea or Taiwan or other regions, India, that have their own like really rich history of games in their own ways that are largely unknown in the English-speaking world. Yeah, there's definitely some kind of cliquish behavior in some groups, which I mean that exists everywhere, but I think it perhaps it's a little more I don't know how that kind of behavior or those kinds of people fit into the larger scope. They seem like maybe like more weirdo outliers in, if it's like an American collector or a French collector or whatever, than in Japan. But I think those types kind of exist. But it is true, I think, broadly, that is more representative of the general kind of mindset, at least as perceived from the outside. Where, like, because I think for sure when it comes to preservation of stuff, I'm not the kind of person who would like get mad and, you know, get my pitchfork at the ready to like complain about someone who doesn't dump something and just immediately release it publicly. If something like, if we know that something is dumped and it exists, it is like kept safe, I'm perfectly fine with not having personal access to it for the time being, just at least trusting that it won't be lost. Having said that, of course, the more wide access we can have, the more appreciative I am, but I realize that it is a complicated situation with a lot of kind of politics involved. But the worst, I think, is like, you know, these kind of people who kind of hoard stuff with the kind of specific idea that because I will personally lose, you know, profitability on this item, or my perceived profitability on it, I cannot allow it to be dumped. Like, I think that kind of sucks, and I think it's... I guess I can't say that it's factually untrue, but I do think when it comes to some of these like extremely obscure, super rare artifacts, even if something were to be dumped, yeah, there's going to be a hypothetical group of people who could have been interested in paying for it who no longer are, but there's always going to be someone who's still interested in, like, I struggle to imagine some kind of holy grail item like that becoming, just losing all of its value once it's dumped, but who knows. Yeah, and perhaps, you know, there's a line to be drawn somewhere, and, you know, if you have something that's worth, you know, hundreds of thousands, like the original Nintendo PlayStation or whatever, yeah, maybe it's not reasonable to treat that the exact same way as a flyer, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons why it's hard to come by good cover art and manual scans, and I like to talk about these things because I think it's important. I think these things are really cool and fascinating, and I think it's it's a noble cause to, you know, try to help with. So I say that not in an attempt to pat myself on the back, but like I try to do these things because I do think it matters, and I do think it's like something I can do to provide some kind of service or value to, you know, mankind, if we're gonna be a little bit highfalutin about it. But I enjoy doing it, and it's a fun way to kind of immerse myself in something like cover arts or manuals or whatever. But I also do think it's worth bringing attention to. Like, it's a kind of thing where, you know, you never know who might have access to certain things, who might not realize that, hey, this is something worth worth doing something with. Yeah, I mean, of course, shit that like gets canceled and never sees the light of day, that's a particular kind of exciting and interesting. But yeah, anything that gives insight into like what was going on in games current, like mid development and everything, it's like extra interesting. Anyway, it's an important and fun topic, but we have other things to discuss.